All right, what's going on, guys? SteelTwins back at you with another video.
Yeah, man. What week is this? I want to say week 7.
Week 7.
Week 7 predictions. Damn, it's week 7 already. Week 7 predictions, man. Want to welcome a special guest to the channel. As you guys know, he is a member of the Steel City Disciples here on YouTube. He's obviously a die-hard Pittsburgh sports fan. And overall, just one of the coolest dudes we know, man. Still Maiden, huge shout out to you. What's up, man?
What is up? What is going on, everyone? Still Maiden back here on these guys' channels doing weekly pick'ems. Thank you, boys, so much for having me. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. No problem for having you on the channel. Glad to have you back on the channel, man. It's been a long time coming, everything.
Yep.
Week 7 picks. Let's just get right into it, man.
All right.
Thursday game, man. We have the Chiefs at the Broncos. Chiefs have what, lost 2 straight?
2 straight.
And the Broncos have won 2 straight. So what's your prediction, man?
Oh, I got Kansas City winning this game easily. Like you guys said, the Chiefs are on a 2-game losing streak, and Denver's won 2 in a row, I believe. But a lot of people are saying, "Oh, are these teams going in opposite directions?" No, not at all. Kansas City is, Patrick Mahomes has just had 2 bad games in a row, and the Broncos, they're still not a very good team. And I just think with Kansas City just owning Denver lately, I think they've won like the past 8 or 9 games in a row against them, and I think that's just their way to end a losing streak right there. So hopefully Patty Mahomes has another great game because I got him on my other fantasy teams. So I hope he just lights up Denver, and I got the Chiefs winning this one 37-20.
Yeah, I would have to agree completely. If there's one game that the Chiefs can break their losing streak and get back on track, it's definitely this one against a divisional rival like the Broncos in Mile High. Chiefs got this. They really do. I still don't like the Broncos completely. So Chiefs got to get back on track here. They do. I'm going to say 34 to 21.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs here. I mean, Broncos have looked good the past 2 weeks, but they're still the Broncos. They still have Flacco. That's definitely going to show against the Chiefs. I'm going to say 37-21 Chiefs.
Okay. But Sunday games, we have a terrible fucking game here. I mean, we have the Dolphins at the Bills. What's your prediction, man?
Well, this is one of my 3 teams that are guaranteed to lose this week. The Dolphins are just horrendous. I mean, I don't know if you boys saw that any highlights against that Dolphins Redskins game. Not that I blame you, because who would want to watch that? But
Right. I totally skipped it.
The Dolphins were down 17-10 in the dying seconds of the game, and they got a touchdown. All they need to do is hit the extra point, and they go into overtime. What did they do? They go for 2, and they fail it. Kenyon Drake had the ball right in his hands, and he dropped it. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if Miami's tanking or if they're just that bad, but I think it's a combination of both. But on the other hand, the Buffalo Bills, they're playing really good football right now. They got a really underrated defense, in my opinion. And I think it's just a no-brainer here. I got the Bills winning this one 24-7.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And if Kenyon Drake legit dropped the ball like that, then if that's not tanking, I don't know what is. I mean, they are just trying to go 0-16. They're definitely trying to get the number 1 pick. I agree. This is a no-brainer. Bills win this. Let's say 29-13.
I got the Bills, obviously. Bills are actually very underrated this year. If they keep it up, they can definitely make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
If Josh Allen can get the wheels going.
yeah, exactly. Bills, I'm going to say 30-3.
Okay. Next game, though, we have I don't want to say a bad game, but it kind of is.
Well, it's not decent.
No, it's not. It's the Jags at the Bengals. What's your prediction, man?
Yeah, I don't see this being a whole lot of fun either. The Jags, the Jags, they're not a bad team. They're a below average team, in my opinion. I think they're like, a really good offensive scheme away from being kind of like how they were a couple of years ago. They still have a really good defense, I'll say that. The Jaguars have a really good defense still. I mean, they kept the Saints in check relatively well back on Sunday. I think they held them to like 13 points. And then you got the Bengals. They are just awful. no explanation about it. I mean, it's like, man, I'm not even kidding. I thought these guys were bad with Marvin Lewis. These guys are looking worse without Marvin Lewis. I did
Oh
not
yeah.
think that was possible. I mean, Zach Taylor, he's just showing that he's not a good head coach. He's a coordinator. All there is to it.
Mhm.
That being said, though, I think Cincinnati can kind of keep it close with the Jags, but I got Gardner Minshew getting another win for the Jaguars. I got their defense keeping them in check. Don't be fooled by my score prediction, but I'm saying 20-18 Jags, but I think the Bengals get a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah. Uh, Bengals suck. I mean, I believe they're I think they're one of two teams that have 0 victories right now, and that is with the
Yeah,
Dolphins, and that's not good company. That's not good company at all. Jags got this. Fournette, he's starting to get the wheels going. I think he continues it against a horrendous Bengals defense. Minshew, I agree, gets another win. I can see DJ Chark having another great game. Their defense, I don't expect Ramsey to start again, but nonetheless, I think their defense is still in check. Yeah, Jags win. Let's say 23 to 17.
Okay. I got the Jags here. I mean, just like you and Matt said, the Bengals are awful.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, I believe it was actually in the Bengals stadium. They couldn't even beat the fucking Cardinals.
Yeah.
So how am I supposed to believe that they're going to defeat the Jags, who have a much better defense?
Right.
So I got the Jags. I'm going to say 24-10.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer here. Next game, though, this is going to be an interesting one. We have the Vikings versus, I got completely screwed by the refs last night, Lions. What's your prediction, man?
Oh, you said it. Those officials last night were terrible. That was some of the most heinous reffing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm going on a bit of a rant here. I'm sorry, but like, how the fuck was
Okay.
that illegal use of the hands? Like, he didn't even
Yeah.
touch his face. That was such a bad call. The Lions got completely hosed in that game. I don't care what anyone says. That was terrible.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, I have to
anyway,
agree with you.
yeah, but anyway, Vikings and Lions. The NFC North is an absolute dogfight this year. At least so far it is. I mean, the Lions are last place in that division, but they're still 500. Yeah, I always say this about Kirk Cousins with the Vikings. He can never beat good teams, but goddamn, man, like on Sunday, Stephon Diggs just absolutely killed the Eagles on Sunday. Like, it wasn't even like he was catching all these great passes in tight coverage. He was just destroying that secondary. He was like wide open all day Sunday. I was watching that game. But, yeah, fine. I mean, at the same time, though, Kirk Cousins always had good success against the Eagles, so I think that's another good point. The Vikings, they still look like they have a good defense. Not a great defense. Their defense kind of reminds me of the Ravens' defense a little bit. It's not great. It's not terrific. It's a good, solid defense. And then the Lions, yeah, you want to talk about quarterbacks that can't beat good teams. Matthew Stafford is terrible against winning teams. He is god-awful against winning teams. And I think that's your difference maker right there, honestly. I think Detroit can kind of keep it close with the Vikings, but I got Minnesota going to 5-2. Give me the Vikings here 29-20.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I will say the Lions are surprisingly very resilient this year. They almost beat Mahomes and the Chiefs. They looked real good against the Packers. Now, granted, if that call wasn't made on Trey Flowers, Matthew Stafford and that offense going down the field and scoring is very questionable and arguable. But I mean, it's still the possibility. It's still the fact that there could have been a chance. But against the Vikings, and I agree, I think Matthew Stafford is the difference maker here. He like you said, he just can't win against winning teams. You could say the same thing about Kirk Cousins, but the Lions aren't really up in that winning team category yet. So I'm going to go with the Vikings here. I think offense has another great game. Their offense is really starting to connect again. Going back to Diggs, by the way, let's not forget there was one guy who actually sat him in fantasy. My partner in crime right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
You just had to add that to the video, didn't you?
I really
asshole?
did. I really did. You sat Diggs. What do you have? Like 7 receptions, 167 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
You don't have to go into
Yep.
detail.
I think I do.
No, you don't. Yeah, I lost out on 40 points. I still won, though. I still won my fantasy matchup, so.
But damn. But yeah, I got the Vikings here. Let's go 30-24.
Yeah, I got the Vikings. I had to agree with both of you. Stafford sucks. I mean, the Lions are pretty. I mean, they're not bad this year. I just can't trust them at all. And how can you?
Yeah.
So Vikings. I'm gonna say 28-20.
Okay. Next game though, we have the Raiders at the Packers. What's your prediction, man?
I got Green Bay here. I will say this about the Packers. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender like most people say they are. I think they're a playoff team, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. That being said, though, I do think Matt LaFleur is a definite upgrade over Mike McCarthy. I mean, with Mike McCarthy and Green Bay, that team just wasn't melding very well, even though they had some really good years there. But you know what I mean. I mean, Green Bay's defense. This is now the second time this year the Packers' defense has gotten exposed, in my opinion. Both games were in prime time. The first time was that Eagles-Packers game earlier this season. And now the Lions kind of exposed it too. Matthew Stafford in that first quarter, he looked like Joe Montana in that first quarter against the Packers last night. The Packer defense got burned by the simplest stuff like flea flickers, man. It was just not a good start for the defense. Eventually it settled down and they were able to keep the Lions in check. But overall I think Green Bay's defense has gotten exposed now for the most part, but still able to put up good games. Then you got the Raiders, man. They're over 500. They're 3-2, I think, something like that. But I still don't think Oakland's a good team. Their defense is still horrendous, and going up against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who can make any of his receivers look good, that's going to be a big problem for the Raiders. So I'm going with Green Bay to win this one pretty handily, actually. I got the Packers 40-23.
Damn. But I gotta say, I gotta agree. And excuse me. Let's not forget they might be getting Devontae Adams back. He's been out the last 2 weeks, so they might be getting him back. If they do, that's just a massive. I want to say it's a damn near guarantee that Packers win this and Lambeau. Raiders, like you said, the Raiders aren't bad, but I'm just not sold on them. I'm not sold on Derek Carr. I'm not sold on their defense. I'm not sold on anything they have. Maybe Josh Jacobs. That's pretty much it. Not sold on Gruden whatsoever. So,
Knock on wood if you agree with me.
What?
That's what he usually says, right?
Oh, I guess. I didn't watch Hard Knocks, so.
Well, I saw it on Twitter and shit.
Yeah. But I got the Packers. Excuse me. I got the Packers winning 38-20. I guess.
Yeah, I got the Packers. Raiders, they're going to get exposed. Like, there's nothing really else to say. The Raiders, they suck.
I guess you can say that. They're just not. You're not sold on them.
Nah, how can I be?
Right.
How can I be sold on them? So, Green Bay and Lambeau, hell yeah, Green Bay. I'm gonna say 42-23.
Okay. The next game we have two teams that are pretty much down in the dumps right now. Rams. I mean, what they've lost 3 straight.
Mm-hmm.
And the Falcons, although their offense is phenomenal and striking, their defense can't fucking cover a blanket right now. So, yeah, Rams at the Falcons. What's your prediction, man?
Oh, this was a tough one for me to decide at first because, the Rams are in a really bad slump right now. But that being said, I still think they're a good team. They're still a solid team. I wouldn't count them out yet. I will say something about this matchup, though. It's funny because I always say Jared Goff and Matt Ryan, I think, are very similar quarterbacks. They rely a lot on their targets, and they rely a lot on a strong run. They rely a lot on a strong run game. And their weakness is that if they face a potent defense that can shut down Cooper Kupp and Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods and, for the Falcons, Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, and they can plug the holes with Todd Gurley, and with the Falcons they can plug it with Devonta Freeman. They're hopeless. You defeated them easily. Like this past Sunday when the Rams played the 49ers was a carbon cutout. The 49ers have such a great defense. They have a great young physical defense, and they held the Rams to under 50 total yards in the second half. That was another game I was watching. But yeah, like I'm going to kind of give the Rams the benefit of the doubt because they played the 49ers who are a fantastic team right now. And oh yeah, that's right. They played Seattle last week. They're another good team, but really letting the Bucs drop 55 on you at home. Yeah, there's something wrong with the Rams. But like I said, I wouldn't count them out yet. I still think they're a solid team. I still think they're going to be a playoff team. And then the Falcons, they're what now? 1-5, something like that. They are just not a good. They are not a good team this year, and this is with their team mainly healthy. So there's like no excuse with them. And it all goes back to the same thing I've been talking about. Dan Quinn, he needs to be fired or at least put on the hot seat with the Falcons. So I think the Rams end their losing streak here. I think the Falcons offense can kind of give the Rams some problems, but I got the Rams pulling out in the end and getting this win and ending their losing streak. I got LA winning 30-24.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta agree. I'm gonna go with the Rams here. If there's one game that they gotta get back on track, it's this one. Falcons, like you said, their offense can definitely give them a challenge, but their defense is not anything right now. So if there's a game for Goff to go off and rebound and for the entire offense to strike, it's this one. As for the Rams overall, I'm gonna say. I can kind of see this being a shootout, but I kind of can't at the same time. I'm gonna go with the shootout. Let's go 34-30 Rams.
See, this is kind of tough because it's in Atlanta, but I just think the Rams are the more better overall team, and I have to agree with you. This is the game to bounce back after 3 devastating losses. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. I would have to agree. I do think it will be a shootout because both offenses are very fucking good. They really are. So I'm gonna say 37-34 Rams.
Okay. Next game, though, we have a AFC South matchup, man. We got the Texans at the Colts. Should be a damn good one. One I'm going to try to tune into. What's your prediction, man?
Yeah, I do think this is going to be a good game. The Deshaun Watson's a really good quarterback. He's really evolved well since that ACL injury a few years ago. And, the Texans, I think they're a really good team. Him and DeAndre Hopkins, that's a damn good combo right there. And that being said, though, I don't know, I may sound like a minority here, but I was never really sold on Houston's defense. Even with the healthy J.J. Watt, I was never really sold on Houston's defense. I don't know what it is. I mean, they seem to give up a lot of big plays at inopportune times, and they I don't want to say the defense doesn't show up against good teams, but it's very underwhelming against good teams. But, that was when the Colts had Andrew Luck, and now Andrew Luck is out of the picture. I think the Colts have to come in with the same game plan they had with Kansas City a few weeks ago. You got to abuse the hell out of the run game right there. The defense needs to pressure Watson all day because he's a mobile quarterback, and the Colts and Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to say Mahomes is a mobile quarterback, but he can use his legs when he needs to. And I think, overall, I think the Colts just have to have the same game plan they had against the Texans, and their chances of winning that game will skyrocket. But at the end of the day, I just think Watson is just going to be too much for Indianapolis's defense. I think I was totally wrong about the Colts defense, by the way. I said Indy was going to have a bad defense this year. I think Indy has a pretty decent defense actually now. But, that being said, I think Indy's defense kind of lets up here, and I got the Texans winning this one 32-25.
Yeah. I gotta agree. I gotta go with Texans here. Colts. I mean, they've surprised me this year, especially Brissett. He's no Andrew Luck. But Marlon Mack stepping up. Their offense is stepping up. Offensive line's looking real good. I think they get T.Y. Hilton back, although they had him back in the last game. But I think he could possibly go striking again. He usually has good games against the Texans, so I can see him and Brissett going off here. But I don't know. The Texans' offense is just hot as hell right now. Carlos Hyde is stepping up big time, and their passing game speaks for itself. Really, everyone's just stepping up. So I'm gonna go with Texans here. Let's say 31 to 20, 31 to 23.
Okay. See, I think I'm gonna go with the Colts on this one.
Really?
Considering it's in Indianapolis. Usually the Colts have a close game with the Texans almost every year, especially in Indianapolis.
Right. Normally they split, I believe.
Right. And I mean,
Yeah.
out of nowhere, no one expected the Colts to defeat the Chiefs. And the fact that they were able to do that, considering the Chiefs are somewhat unstoppable this year, especially their offense, I feel like their defense can be able to contain Deshaun Watson and maybe some of DeAndre Hopkins, considering they are rivals and they know them very, very well.
Yeah.
So I do think that the Colts could pick up another upset here. I really do. But I think this will be a close game as well. I'm going to say 27-24 Colts.
Okay. That's a very interesting take, but very possible, man. Should be a good one, though. One that's not going to be a good one that's going to be a damn sure blowout, is the Niners at the Redskins. I don't think I need to ask you this question, Mr. Steel Maiden, but what's your prediction?
Oh, good God. Yeah, needless to say, this is my second team that's guaranteed to lose this week. I got the 49ers going into D.C. I got them just freaking murdering the Redskins here. Like I said earlier, the 49ers, to me, they're a Super Bowl contender to me. They got a great defense, great young physical defense. Nick Bosa, that dude's an absolute monster. Just gets better every single week. And then you got your offense led by Jimmy Garoppolo and George Kittle, who may as well be named Rob Gronkowski Jr. because no one can frickin' tackle and cover him. There was one play against the Rams where he caught the ball. He literally broke like 5 or 6 tackles against the Rams. That dude is just a freak on a leash right there. All there is to it. The Redskins, well, they almost lost to the Dolphins. Let me put it to you like that. They were a 2-point conversion away. They're a 2-point conversion away from losing to the Dolphins. That's about all you need to know. 49ers easily here. This is my lock for the week. And to show you both how confident I am, I got the 49ers shutting them out here. I got the Niners winning 40. I got the Niners winning 43-0.
Damn. I'm gonna one up you, 48-0.
There you go.
Niners. I mean, Jesus Christ. I am impressed by how stacked the Niners are in literally almost every goddamn position, especially that defensive line. Holy
Yeah, that front seven alone ain't no joke.
Nah.
Especially their depth.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
I mean, you're talking D Ford, you're talking Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, DeForest Buckner. I mean, who else they got?
Arik Armstead.
I mean, goddamn.
And you got Quan Alexander, Fred Warner. Guys like that, like Jesus Christ.
And that's just the front seven, man. They got Sherman and Verrett up top on the secondary. Damn.
Yeah, this is going to be a complete shutout. I don't see the Redskins offense doing anything at all. I really don't. Their quarterback group is garbage. Although Haskins is definitely going to be developing, I do think he will develop well and be a very good quarterback in the future.
Yeah.
But the Redskins don't stand a chance. They don't. I got the 49. I got 42-0.
Yeah. If there's one person that's going to do something for the Redskins, it's Terry McLaurin. That dude's a stud. That dude is a diamond in the rough with the Redskins.
Yeah.
God bless him. God bless him. What a stud. But that ain't going to do nothing against the Niners.
No.
But next game, we have the Cardinals at the Giants.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. What's your prediction?
Well, I always say whenever I'm unsure of who to pick, I go with the home team. But even then, I wasn't completely sure this time. I mean, you know, Arizona, yeah, 2-3-1. It suggests that they're a last place team, but honestly, I think they're playing a lot better than what their record indicates.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, they knocked off the Falcons, and yeah, they beat the Bengals. How could I forget that? But their three losses, really, if you take away, I really don't think the Cardinals have really been blown out in a lot of these games this year because I know they kept it close with the Ravens, but I forget who else they lost to. I'm not going to waste too much time, but the point is the Cardinals, they're a lot better than what their record says they are. And then you got the Giants. They're kind of the same way. I mean, they're 2-4, and yeah, they lost by 21 points to the Patriots last Thursday night, but their defense really kept them in for much of the game, and then the Patriots just finally went off and beat them. But now the Giants are coming back home, and even though the Giants really do have a bad defense, I mean, the whole NFC East has a bad defense. Let me just tell you. Let me just put it like that. I think the biggest X factor for this game, for me personally, is that I think Saquon Barkley's coming back for this game. And if he's back for this game, I think the Giants have a much better chance in this game. But at the same time, I do like Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray's putting together a pretty decent year for a rookie. And the Cardinals do have some playmakers at receiver, and they still got David Johnson. So it's going to be kind of like it's going to be an interesting choice for me. So, like I always say, whenever I'm unsure of who to pick, I go with the home team. And since the Giants are the home team, I'm actually going to go with the Giants here. I got them winning 27-20.
Okay. Yeah, this one's tough for me because I mean both these teams. I mean their record sucks, but I agree they're playing better than what their record shows. Especially the Cardinals. I agree. Kyler Murray's putting on a stud, or putting on a decent rookie year. Me personally, I'm surprised. I'm impressed actually. I wasn't sold on Kyler Murray coming out of college whatsoever. Um, but he's actually doing real good. Larry Fitzgerald's still a god. David Johnson's kind of getting going. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Patrick Peterson's coming back for this game, so that could be a difference maker. Um, so, and I don't know if they're getting Barkley back. I know he's way ahead of schedule, but nonetheless, I'm going to go with Cardinals here. Cardinals are I'm going to say they're a decent team. Offense is kind of stacked. Defense ain't really much, but they're getting a few playmakers back this week, so I'm going to go Arizona. I don't see much from this game, to be completely honest with you. So I'm going to say 17-14
Right.
Cardinals.
Okay. You see what? See, I can see the Giants winning here, not just because they're home, but ever since Daniel Jones stepped in at quarterback, you can see there's a completely different vibe
Oh, yeah.
on the Giants team. Not just the offense, but the defense as well.
Right.
You can easily
Yeah.
see a massive difference from Eli Manning and Daniel Jones. You can really see a massive difference, but I don't think that's enough to defeat the Cardinals. I have to agree with you guys. The Cardinals team is playing a lot better than what the record shows. Murray's impressing. Overall, I think the Cardinals can be a pretty decent team if they just fill some holes in. I really do. But I'm gonna say the Cardinals win here. I'm gonna say 23-20. I think they win by a field goal.
Okay. So, but next game, we have two teams that have lost two straight and are looking to get back on the win train. So we got the Chargers at the Titans. What's your prediction, man?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is my trash game of the week, man. Easily. I'll say this: I freaking hate the Titans when it comes to pick 'em. I hate them because they're the one team I can never predict right. Like I pick the
Yeah.
Titans to win. I predict the Titans to win, they lose. I predict them to lose, they win. Like what the hell? So yeah, I hate Tennessee, man. So the way I see it, I'm probably not going to pick the Titans until I see consistency from them, which will probably never happen. But, man, Marcus Mariota, he's just not a good quarterback to me. I don't care what anyone says. He really hasn't lived up to his full potential, in my opinion. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it before, but really, knowing this guy's ceiling when he got drafted by the Titans, he's just been really underwhelming. I mean, he's not even the best offensive player on the Titans. To me, it's Derrick Henry, and even then, he's shown a little inconsistency at times. But
Yeah.
if there is one thing I always say about the Titans is that they got a really underrated pass rush, and I think that keeps them in a lot of games. And then you got the Chargers, man. The Chargers are an overrated team to me. I mean, even last year when they went 12-4, I said they weren't that good. I mean, Philip Rivers, sure he puts on a good game every now and then, but I don't know. I just don't know what it is. The Chargers, to me, they're just not really that good of a team. The defense, to me, the Chargers are a better defensive team than an offensive team, and everyone says how great they are offensively. I just don't see how really good they are offensively. All 12 Charger fans say that, but yeah, I don't know, man. Normally, I'd go with the home team here, but I just can't pick the Titans anymore. I think that's literally the only reason for me picking. I'm going with the Chargers to win a boring, low-scoring game. I got LA winning 13-10.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I agree completely on the Titans. They have got to be the most inconsistent team in this league. I mean, I don't understand how you can be so inconsistent. And that just not goes for the Titans. That goes for every player on that fucking team. Like, damn. I don't know if it's Rabel. I don't know if it's them not wanting to play or if them just flipping a coin and saying, oh, maybe we should play today or maybe not. I don't fucking know. I'm going to go with Chargers. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this game. I'm just going to say the Chargers. 23-16. I don't know.
I have to go with the Chargers. I mean, what else is there to say about the Titans that you guys have not already said before?
Right.
I mean, they don't even know who the hell their starting quarterback's going to be, whether it's going to be
That's
Mariota
true.
or Ryan Tannehill. Nonetheless, it's not going to help them at all.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, they got shut out by the Broncos,
I know.
and their defense is atrocious.
The Broncos, man.
And I consider the Chargers defense to be way better than the fucking Broncos. So
Yeah.
I'm going with the Chargers. I'm going to say 17-13. Chargers.
Okay. Next game, though, it could be an interesting one, although it's pretty much the battle of the backups. Saints at the Bears. What's your prediction, man?
I still think this is going to be a great game. In fact, I think this is going to be game of the week right here. Like you said, yeah, the Saints have a backup in Teddy Bridgewater, but he's been playing really well. Nothing great, but well enough for them to win games, apparently. I mean, the Saints are 5-1. But the one thing about the Saints here that I'm really impressed about is that ever since Drew Brees went down, their defense has really stepped up. The Saints have been playing great defense since Drew Brees went down. And that's one of the biggest concerns I had with the Saints this year. I mean, I still had them winning the NFC South, but I said their defense still needs to show up and still needs to prove to me that they can be a top unit. But, man, that defense the Saints have has been playing really well lately. And then you got to take a look at the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they're 3-2. I keep saying over and over again, I'm not sold on Mitch Trubisky. I don't see what's so great about him. To me, he's just another Blake Bortles. But the Bears, their defense is Super Bowl caliber, like easily. So I can easily see this being a defensive matchup here, and I think it kind of will. I think it'll be borderline high scoring, not too many points put on the board, but I've heard that Mitch Trubisky might be able to play in this game, but I don't know, man.
That's not a good idea.
I don't know the stats for him. Even with Trubisky, I don't think it'll make much of a difference offensively for the Bears. But the Saints, I mean, okay, I think it's unfair for me to say that they're having low scoring games because Bridgewater's in, but Bridgewater's shown glimpses that he's a starting quarterback. He really is. So I just don't buy that excuse. But with that being said, this was another tough one for me to pick. And, I always say whenever I'm unsure of who to pick, I go with the home team. And as much as I would love to pick the Saints here, I'm actually going to go with the Chicago Bears here. I'm a firm believer in defense wins championships. The first thing I always talk about when I'm previewing historic games is defense. That's the first thing I always talk about with us. I'm just a defensive guy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going with the Bears to snap the Saints winning streak. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game, but I'm actually going Chicago here 23-21.
Wow, man. That honestly could be a very bold pick here because, I mean, the Bears, we all know their defense is arguably best in the league. Their offense ain't shit, but um, Saints offensively is clearly better. I mean, Bears are just inferior compared to that, but you know what? You might have just made me a believer. Honestly, I was going to go with the Saints here, but I think you just made me a believer. I can see the Bears really pulling this off. And I agree, defense wins championships. Their defense is too strong in Soldier Field. You know what? Now I can see it. You opened my eyes, man. I'm gonna go with the Bears here. I think this is a nice defensive bout here. Um, let's say I'm gonna go 17-16. Bears.
Okay. Both defenses are great. Saints have definitely stepped up. Bears are the Bears. Their defense is still great. But I think the one thing is, for when it comes to the Saints defense, I believe they're still going up against Chase Daniel, not Mitchell Trubisky, because I think Trubisky's still dealing with a shoulder injury.
Is he?
Yeah. And Chase Daniel didn't really do too well against the Raiders 2 weeks back.
I mean,
So that's kind of the one thing that's kind of preventing me from the Bears winning. But yet again, this bye week may have helped Daniel a lot when it comes to communicating with his weapons and everything and getting better at the playbook. And better overall, I just think the Bears defense is better than the Saints. I think this is finally going to be the one loss where the Saints lose with Bridgewater in, and especially since it's in Chicago and Soldier Field. So I'm going to go with the Bears. I do think it will be heavily defensive and low scoring. I'm going to say 14-7. Bears.
okay.
Wow.
Next game though, we have what I think could be a good one, man. Ravens at the Seahawks. This is one I'm definitely gonna try to tune into as well, since the Steelers are of course on the bye. What's your prediction, man?
Well, I definitely do think this has potential to be game of the week, but
Mhm.
couple of things make me make my pick here. So, number one is Seattle's offense. The Seahawks are a very rush happy offense, which is kind of almost like a minority in today's league because today's NFL offense is very pass happy. It's all about the quarterbacks throwing for 350 yards a game and 4 touchdowns. So it's very pass happy offense today. But Seattle's offense works too. I mean, the Seahawks are proven that you can be successful with a mobile quarterback like Russell Wilson, even when Chris Carson's carrying the load for the Seahawks. They Russell Wilson just adds on extra rushing yards. He's always been a really good mobile quarterback and a really good rushing quarterback. So that's my number one thing here. And Baltimore's rush defense is kind of suspect a little bit, as good as their defense is. It's always been a little suspect. I mean, they let Nick Chubb shred them a couple weeks ago. They've had trouble. Last year they had trouble with James Conner. Last year they had trouble with James Conner last year. When Le'Veon Bell was with us, they could never stop us. So Baltimore's rush
Mm-hmm.
defense is suspect in my opinion. And then the other thing here is Lamar Jackson against Seattle's defense. I say it over and over again in my video just to, number one, bug the hell out of Ravens fans, and two, to get a reaction. I say Lamar Jackson's a running back, a quarterback. I think Seattle's game plan on defense here, you have to make Lamar Jackson throw the ball. If you make Lamar throw the ball, then you pretty much stop Baltimore's offense right there. And I think that's exactly what the Seahawks have in mind. Seattle, their defense is nowhere near Legion of Boom caliber like it was 6, 7 years ago, however long ago it's been since they won the Super Bowl, but it's still potent enough
Mhm.
for them to win games. So I'm actually, and plus the game's in Seattle. The Seahawks have always had phenomenal home field advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and take Seattle to win this one in a close game. So give me the Seahawks 24-16.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta agree completely. I'm gonna go with Seahawks here. I think they're just too hot right now for the Ravens to stop. I agree. Their rushing defense and their defense overall, to be real, is suspect. Marlon Humphrey's good. He's on pace to be an elite player, but I'm not sure if they're getting Jimmy Smith back, and the dude they have opposite of him hasn't really done a stellar job. So whoever Humphrey is covering, whether that's Lockett or Metcalf, the other is going to. I can honestly see the other having a breakout game. Um, so, and the thing is, they're not getting Will. I don't know the severity of Will Disley's injury. I know it's an Achilles injury. I'm, excuse me. I'm hearing it's a tear. I don't know what it is. It might be sprained. I have no idea. I hope it's not serious because I have him in fantasy, and I just traded Austin Hooper to the Renegade 412. Huge shout out to him, and are still better than the Bengals fantasy league and everything. So I badly need a tight end. So I'm hoping he's not hurt, but nonetheless, I think Seahawks still gonna win. I think they gotta go with the rushing game, like you said here, Matt. And Russell Wilson's just on fire right now.
Because he has yet to throw an interception.
But honestly, you can make a case for Christian McCaffrey and everything, but he, in my opinion, is the lead candidate for MVP right now. He's just on fire. So I'm gonna go with Seahawks. I think he's too much for the Ravens. Let's say 22-17. Seahawks.
Yeah, I got Seattle here. I mean, I'm not counting out the Ravens. I can definitely see the Ravens pulling this one off. But just like Stillman said, Seattle's got tremendous home field advantage. They always did ever since Russell Wilson came to Seattle, since he was drafted there.
Right.
Seattle's just dominant, unstoppable in Seattle. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I do think this will be a hell of a game. I'm going to say 30-23 Seattle.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna change my score prediction to 29-17.
Okay.
I think Seahawks score more here. In next game, we have the annual and classic NFC East matchup, Sunday Night Football matchup. Eagles at the Cowboys. What's your prediction, man?
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Eagles and Cowboys on Sunday Night Football? No, friggin' way. That's never happened before. Anyway, there's just primetime.
Man.
There's just primetime matchups I'm sick and tired of watching. This is definitely one of them. But yeah, here's what I think about this game though. The NFC East is right up there with us for being the worst division in football. I mean, the Cowboys and Eagles are tied for first place, and they're both 3-3, and they're both coming off really bad losses, in my opinion. I mean, the Eagles just got trounced all day by Stephon Diggs and Kirk Cousins, while the Cowboys, despite outgaining the Jets in time of possession, total yards, third down conversions, and first downs, they still lost. Like, how does that happen? And worst of all, it was to the winless Jets. Like, how does that happen? Oh, boy. But a couple things to take away from this game. You know, Philly's pass defense is one of the worst in the league, in my opinion. I'd say it's definitely the worst in the NFC, but it's one of the worst in the league overall. The front seven's okay. It's good enough. It's good enough to stop teams on drives. It's good enough to get the stops in. It's good enough to generate pressure, but it's kind of been a little inconsistent this year. Carson Wentz, on the other hand, as far as their offense goes, I think this is still like a prove it year for Carson Wentz because their quarterback that got them all the fame and glory is down in Jacksonville now, and Nick Foles is hurt, so I don't know when he's coming back. And then the Eagles receivers, they got to hold on to these footballs, man, because Alshon Jeffrey dropped a couple easy passes, and I don't know who else it was, but these receivers have got to hang on to the catches, man. That's the difference between Philly being really 4-2 or 5-1. And they got, the Eagles have a lot of secondary problems as far as their defense goes as well. It's kind of similar to us, but instead of the Eagles having just one position on secondary that's preventing them from being good like we have, I think their entire secondary is suspect. Especially Sidney Jones. I don't know why that guy is so overhyped. And then the Cowboys, you know, if Dak Prescott's to have a big game where he's going to throw 300, 400 yards and a couple touchdown passes, I think this is the one to do it. But when you think of Dallas's offense, you don't think of, oh, we got to pressure Dak all night. We got to get the Dak all night. No, you think of, you got to penetrate that offensive line and stop Ezekiel Elliott, because he's the bulk of Dallas's offense right there. So with those things in mind, this was a really tough one for me to decide, but there's one thing that always sticks out with me in this matchup. This matchup, more often than not, is dominated by the road team. The Eagles usually play very well in Dallas, and the Cowboys usually play very well in Philly. So I think just because of that, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the Eagles here to get back on track and win this game. And they've also proved that they can. They've also proved the Eagles can go into primetime games and win big games. They did against the Rams last year. They did against the Packers earlier this season. So I think if the Eagles just kind of have the same game plan they did against the Packers, they just abuse the run game and make Dallas's defense work and they tire them out, I think Philly has a good chance of winning this game. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take the Eagles to win. I'm going to say this will be a shootout, 37-33 Philly.
Okay. Interesting take. And one thing I will say, Doug Pearson's usually not that bad in primetime games, so that might lead the Eagles to victory here. This one's tough for me. Both teams are 3-3. Both are on losing streaks right now. Both are looking suspect, to be real.
Because Dallas lost 3 straight. The Eagles are hit or miss.
Right. Man. A part of me wants to go with Dallas because, one, it's home field advantage, and two, they've won what I just seen right here, 3 straight against the Eagles. Now, granted, that was with Wentz out and with what's-his-face in, Foles in, so, yeah. Fuck, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going to have to agree with you. I was going to say Cowboys, but it's just a shot in the dark. If the Cowboys can get Elliott going, maybe they got a shot. But I don't know, man. That defensive line can definitely stop that offensive line. Do they have Tyron Smith back? The Cowboys.
I'm not sure yet.
Not entirely
I think
sure,
so.
Yeah. If not, then that could definitely slow down the Cowboys and Dak overall.
Possibly be a game changer.
Right. As it has shown in the past. I mean, let's not forget that Falcons and Cowboys game where Adrian Claiborne had 7 sacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I'm going to say fuck it. I'm going to say, let's go 33 to 30. I agree. I think it's a shootout.
Yeah. See, I can see the Eagles winning, but I just don't know what it is about them because I look at their team. I think they're a very talented team, a playoff contending team just looking at them.
On paper, yeah.
But they are not clicking at all. They really aren't. Cowboys ain't much better. Lost 3 straight. They haven't done that since 2017. I mean, coming off a devastating loss to the winless Jets, they definitely want to come back home and get a win against a division rival for first place for their division, the NFC East. I think they're getting Amari Cooper back. I'm not sure because he got injured last week with a quad.
Yeah, I'm not sure how severe it was, though.
But I think any receiver against that Eagles secondary could really torch them. And going to the Eagles secondary, they are just trash. They really are. I mean, if there's one place that I think Ramsey will land, and yes, I do think the Jags will eventually trade Ramsey with how he's been acting. If there's one place where I can see him going, it's Philly. Philly desperately needs him.
I'd almost say it's inevitable.
It's clearly shown. I mean, my God. Thielen and Diggs
know,
just shredded that. Any receiver can shred Philly secondary. Like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, I
Like,
don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, man, but now that you brought that
No, you're
up,
good.
the Eagles offered the Jaguars like a first round pick in Zach Ertz for Jalen Ramsey, and they declined that. So, like, what the hell do the Jags want from that? I don't know what else to offer.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know what they could offer, to be real. I mean,
At this point, I think Philly's just going to try to give up whatever for Ramsey because right now they need him more than ever.
it might cost an extra first rounder or additional second rounder. I mean, the Jags are clearly, standing their ground on wanting a lot for Ramsey.
Right.
So
We'll see what happens, but I think I'm going to have to go with Cowboys here. I really do. If they can get Elliott going and if Cooper is playing, I do think Dallas will take this game, although it will be close. I think Cowboys win it here. I'm going to say 31-27.
Okay. Next game, we have a damn sure guarantee here. I mean, I don't know why this is Monday Night Football. We have the Patriots at the Jets, who have Sam Darnold back and could give them a shot, but against the fucking Patriots, I sound like an idiot just saying that. What's your prediction, man?
Well, first of all, it's primetime matchups like these that are a good example of why NFL ratings are so bad now. I mean,
Yep.
seriously, besides Patriot fans and maybe Jets fans, who gives a crap about this game? Like, seriously. Like, we all know it's going to suck. We all know who's going to win this game. The Jets, I mean, they had an upset win, sure, but, like, it's not happening 2 weeks in a row. Their defense is awful. Their defense is awful. Le'Veon Bell's looking really rusty with the team right now, in my opinion, at least. And I'm sorry, I just don't think the Jets have a snowball's chance in hell at this game. Honestly, it's the Patriots. It's prime time for them. They're next to impossible to beat in prime time. They're next to impossible to just beat. Period. I mean, God only knows how many times the Patriots have been in prime time. So, this is just a waste of a Monday night game, man. Just make me 8-0 on Monday nights already. Like, seriously. I mean,
Right.
I can guarantee you the only reason that this is on Monday Night Football is just because it's Boston versus New York. I can guarantee you that's the only reason it's Monday Night Football. But with that being said, the Jets are my third and final team that are guaranteed to lose this week. I got New England blowing them out 41-9.
Yeah. This is a no-brainer. This is an absolute blowout.
I'm just going to give my prediction now. Patriots 15-9.
God damn.
I'm dead serious. Jets, Darnold or not, you ain't standing a chance.
Nah.
At all. No. Patriots 15-9.
43-6.
All right.
They ain't got, like you said, they ain't got a snowball's chance in hell. So this ain't happening. That's a no-brainer. But anyway, guys, that was our Week 7 predictions with Still Maiden. Massive shout, massive thank you to Still Maiden for joining us on the channel for this week's predictions and everything. Definitely, I totally recommend to go sub to his channel. I'll put the link to his channel in the description below. In fact, Still Maiden, I'm going to give you the floor right now. Tell him what you got on the channel. Tell him what you are doing for the future, man, because I know you just surpassed 1,000 subscribers. Congrats to you, man. So I'm going to give you the floor. Tell the folks what's going on, man.
Well, thanks. First of all, thanks a lot, boys, for having me on here. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. Always have fun with these. Yeah. As they said, my channel will be linked down in the description box. What I do on my channel, well, obviously I talk Steelers football, but if you're looking for just Pittsburgh sports in general, I talk Pirates, I talk Penguins, I do games that I think that'll be interesting. Something I love doing on my channel is that I live stream games that I think will be very interesting. So, like, for example, last night I did a Monday Night Football live stream between the Lions and Packers. I live stream a lot of store games. So if you want to see, I'm not going to say I live stream all store games. There's going to be a couple games that I missed this year. Like I know I had to miss. I know I missed Sunday's game Well, I saw the game Sunday. I just didn't live stream it Sunday because I was over at my buddy's house watching the game, and I didn't have my computer with me. And I know for sure I won't be able to live stream Bill Steelers in week 15 because it's on December 15th, and December 15th is my commencement day, which I will be graduating from college, thank God. I just wish it wasn't on Sunday. But, yeah, so you want Steeler updates? You want Pirates updates? You want Penguin updates? You want to have a good time watching my streams? Just go on, hang out with me. It's always fun to see crazy Yinzer go ape shit about the Steelers whenever we make bad plays or get touchdowns, man. I'm the kind of person that does it. I've already gotten a lot of complaints from my apartment floor from it. But yeah, as far as my streaming for this week goes, well, I got work tonight 6 to 9, so I'm probably not going to be streaming tonight. I plan on getting the Thursday night game in. I plan on getting a Penguins game in, and I plan on getting a couple of football games in for Sunday. I really want to live stream that Saints-Bears game, but only time will tell. And then I know for sure I'm doing Eagles-Cowboys. I always do Sunday night football. But, yeah, that's basically what my channel's all about. I have reached 1,100 subscribers right now. I'm just very blessed about all the hard work and effort I've put into it, all the wonderful people I've been able to meet, and I'm just on the road to 2K right now, man. All there is to it.
Yeah, man. It's awesome. And let's get this man to 2K before the end of the season, man. Totally. If any of that interests you, definitely go sub to him. Again, the link to his channel will be down in the description. I'll even pin it at the top of the comment section, man. Definitely go sub to him if any of that interests you. He's the guy for it, man. Otherwise, still, man, thanks for joining us this week. Can't wait to have you back on the channel later this season. And, of course, you are allowed to join us for the piece and everything. So, Bob, whenever you're ready, you can sign us out, man.
Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace!
This is still Maiden.